Hi, and welcome to Terry Talks Movies, and welcome to a bit of fun. This time I'm going to have a little bit of fun with the channel. And that fun is I'm going to look at what's available free online as far as movies concerned here in Australia. I'm going to look at least two different platforms, Tubi and Brollie. And I'll also show you what's available on ABC iView, the Australian Broadcasting Commission's website. And maybe SBS On Demand. So we'll do a little bit of everything. Let's get started with Tubi because everybody loves Tubi. Now, of course, the Australian stuff, if you want to access it when you're overseas, you're going to need a VPN. There's no way around that. So allowing for that limitation, let's get started. I don't have any plan for this. I'm just going to wing it here. This one I know is in the public domain now. Man Who Laughs with Conrad Veidt. It's from 1928, silent film. This is the origin of the Joker. The Joker wouldn't exist without The Man Who Laughs. Basically, about a guy called Gwynplaine, says that when a proud noble refuses to kiss the hand of a despotic king, he is cruelly executed and his son is surgically disfigured, and that disfigure gives him a permanent laugh. This one I've got on Blu-ray, and it's a good movie. Conrad Veidt had such range as an actor before he went to Hollywood of necessity and became the go-to Nazi and the go-to bad guy. But he had range. And things like The Man Who Laughs, which I'm going to add to my list anyway, is really good. And there, of course, are some things that are recommended if you may also like kind of things. They've got Nosferatu there, the original version, not the Robert Eggers version. Heaven Can Wait, which is fun. The Great Gabbo with Erich von Stroheim. So there's a few things there. All of this great older stuff. I mean, Metropolis is there, Heaven Can Wait. The Love Statue LSD Experience. You can have a look at that yourself if you want to, but I'm not going to. They've got Haxan here as well. Haxan, incredible documentary about witchcraft, or pseudo-documentary almost, from 1922. A fictionalized documentary showing the evolution of witchcraft from its pagan roots to its confusion with hysteria in Eastern Europe. And they've got a whole bunch of other things down here in the recommended. We've got Suspiria, and I've done a great video about Suspiria on the channel. Debbie Does Demons. Let's just go through to look at Debbie Does Demons, which is a little bit different from Dallas, I suppose. From 2023, Lauren and her friends accidentally resurrect the roots Carmilla with a Ouija board, only to be slain and reborn as bloody creatures. You can at least give that one a go, aren't you? And of course, down here we've got Coralie Fudge's Revenge, which I recommend highly. Crazily good movie with Matilda Lutz in it. I've talked about this on the channel before. I've got the Blu-ray of it. Really fascinating, full-on adventure, revenge, action flick. And if you want to look at one of those old scare movies, you can have a look at Sex Madness. From 1938, an exploitation film directed by Dwayne Esper, along the lines of Reefer Madness, supposedly to warn teens and young adults of the danger of venereal diseases, specifically syphilis. That's got to be a date movie, doesn't it? The Devil's Sleep with Lita Gray, Chaplin, John Mitchum, William Thomas. Today's Moral Menace. Okay, I'm going to have a quick look at that. 1949. Get ready for a roller coaster trip of emotion with this campy collection from the golden age of Hollywood. Originally intended to warn America's youth of the perils of drugs, sex, and alcohol, these outlandish and unintentionally hilarious tales have a heartache, tragedy, crime, and even insanity lurking around every corner. That sounds like an adventure, doesn't it? So we'll just go into another genre. Let's see if we can find genres. Let's see if we can find science fiction and fantasy, because, that is one of the emphases of this channel. Science fiction and fantasy. Let's see what we've got there. Metropolis, of course. Little Shop of Horrors. This one, it's got to be weird. Miss Castaway and the Island Girls from 2004. A plane load of beauty pageant contestants crash on an island inhabited by intelligent apes, a prehistoric pig, Noah and his Ark, and it's also got Michael Jackson in it for some reason. As if it wasn't horrifying enough, they put a pedophile in there. That's got to be a weird film. But I'm not going to watch it because it's got Michael Jackson in it. And I don't approve of that kind of thing. And they've got Star Trek fan films here, Star Trek Picard and the Number 1. New Rose Hotel, based on a story by William Gibson. Not that great, Abel Ferrara. You need to watch things like Land of the Lost TV series, which is fun. Looks like they've got the whole series here. And the quality doesn't look too bad from what I can see there as well, because a lot of these things on Tubi have very low res quality, but this one looks okay. Got Johnny Mnemonic there. Who doesn't love a bit of William Gibson with Keanu Reeves as well? This one looks interesting. Siren from 2013. As her potent pheromones cast a spell on any man who comes near her, Lee leads a life of seclusion behind electric fences until the power goes out. I'm going to add that to my list. I want to see that one, just see how it goes. There's a movie called Sloppy Seconds as well. I'm not going to still watch that one. There is just so much weirdness here. The Magic sort of already talked about from the early 1960s with Gary Lockwood and Basil Rathbone and Estelle Winwood. That's a nice little fantasy film. It's low budget. It's a Bird Eye Gordon thing. But that one is a lot of fun. And it's a recommendation from me. I've done it on the channel. And for a low budget 1962 movie, it does fantasy pretty well. I really like that one. This one I don't recommend. Proximity here. I'm not going to recommend because it does a bait and switch. And Proximity turns out to be a Christian film where the aliens are coming to Earth to find out about Jesus. It is an emotionally, horribly dishonest movie. It doesn't respect its audience. So just eschew that one. Let's have a look here. The Long Hair of Death of Barbara Steele. I've actually got that one on my list, I think, because I want to see it. After a woman is burned alive under the suspicion of witchcraft, a curse brings her back from the dead to exact revenge against the killers. Directed by Antonio Margarete. Yeah, you got to like that one. And they've also got the picture of Dorian Gray, the one with Shane Bryant. So that's kind of interesting. What else have they got here? Yeah, a whole bunch of weird and wonderful stuff. Let's see what else we have. The Brother from Another Planet. I recommend this one. John Sayles movie with the wonderful Joe Morton. And outer space bounty hunters chase a non-speaking alien with the appearance of a black human through the streets of Harlem. Low budget, shot on the streets of Harlem, guerrilla filmmaking at its best. Really interesting look at race in America. And The Brother from Another Planet is essentially an escaped slave. So there are all those parallels there. Really interesting little John Sayles movie. And Joe Morton is fantastic in that film with a non-speaking role. We're getting down to the shallow end of the pool here. Let's see if I can find anything that might be worth it. The Body Stealers, weird English science fiction movie from the 60s with George Sanders, Morris Evans, Patrick Allen, and it's also got Neil Connery, Sean Connery's brother, in it. Should remove that from my list because I've got it on Blu-ray and I don't really need it on my Tubi list. And then we got a whole bunch of things down the bottom here. Untamed Woman. A Tamed Woman any better? I don't think so. And The Earth Dies Screaming is in there as well, which I've talked about before. Really nice little kind of cozy catastrophe set in the English home counties with Willard Parker, Virginia Field, Dennis Price is in there as well, Thorley Walters. Directed by Terence Fisher. Does a lot with a little. I like that one a lot. And I think I've got it on DVD up in the back room. I'm not going to look it up now. This is a version that's only 1 hour and 3 minutes long. I'm not sure whether it's a full version or not. It's a movie there called In Search of Tomorrow. You don't need to search for it. It's going to happen. The Stepford Wives. I don't like that version of Stepford Wives. I think it's a silly idea. Lots of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Let's go back and we'll do one more genre dive into maybe crime or something. Not crime TV. We'll do foreign films. A lot of these are foreign films for me because I'm Australian. They got Subway, the Luc Besson Subway, which is kind of interesting, with Christopher Lambert and Isabella Gianni from 1985. That one I kind of like the style of. And they've got that bad Michael Caine, Harry Palmer movie, Midnight in St. Petersburg there. Don't like that one either. Let's see if I can find anything. Full Metal Yakuza. I haven't seen that one, but it might be interesting to see. 1997. In the near future, a slain Japanese mobster, resurrected as a powerful cyborg, seeks vengeance against those who betrayed him. Having trouble with words. I'm adding that to my list. That looks like it might be a bit of fun when I'm in the mood for that kind of thing. They've got a couple of Zatoichi movies there. Hanzo the Razor's in there. Which version of Hanzo is it? Is it the one I've got? 1993. With Ken Watanabe. I don't think that's the one I've got. 5 years after his opposition to the oppressive Tempo-era government, his father's suicide, Hanzo returns for vengeance and enforces new laws. He's basically a magistrate with a lot of martial arts skills. Okay, what else do we have? A lot of things in Spanish language here. But I'm going to duck out of Tubi and hit something else, which is the Australian website, Brollie, which has a ton of good stuff. We'll click into Brollie Essentials there. You've got Max von Sydow and Father Body Melt, part of which was filmed in my neighbourhood, like less than a kilometre from here. Really great body horror. I like that one. I'm going to give that one a heart because even though I've got it on Blu-ray, really interesting, weirdly odd film. I'm not going to click into kids. Let's see what I've got here. Drag it over. The Big Steel's there, which is quite good. You get the Terrifier movies in it as well. Terrifier 1 and 2 at least. And a very bad sex comedy sequel to Alvin Purple from the 1980s called Melvin, Son of Alvin. I don't recommend you ever watch this movie. It is incredibly bad. If you're in the mood for incredibly bad, you might go for it, but it ain't something I recommend. And you can also watch the documentary about exploitation movies, Not Quite Hollywood. Why does that not let me click? Come on. Not Quite Hollywood's there. Not Quite Hollywood's fantastic. I recommend that one. In fact, I recommend a lot of these. Walkabout's in there, which is a fantastic Australian film. Made, of course, not by Australians, but by Nicholas Roeg, with David Gopel, Jenny Agutter, and John Mellion. Just an essential film about Australia, seen from a viewpoint of somebody not from Australia. Let's have a look here. Turkey Shoots there, Babadook. Stone I love. Australian biker movie from 1970. Just a wonderful film. Rough as guts. Shot in and around Sydney. If you haven't seen this one, you really should have. Umbrella put it out on Blu-ray, and I've got the Blu-ray they put out. Recommended highly. Lots of things like True Story of Eskimo Nell. BMX Bandits, if you happen to be a Nicole Kidman fan, BMX Bandits may be your jam, but it's not particularly mine. Razorbacks there, I've got their 4K. 10 Canoes, which has just been released on 4K. Great Australian comedy with Sam Neill and John Clarkin at Death in Brunswick. Set in Brunswick here in Melbourne. Very funny. The graveyard scene in Death in Brunswick will make you piss with laughter. It is just incredibly good little comedy that I highly recommend you find a copy of. And then you've got, of course, Mondo movies like Australia After Dark. I can show that one, because you can't quite see anything. Shino documentary, there are a couple of these ones there. There's The Love Witch, which I like a lot. There's The Ultimate Cut of Caligula. There's All Hallows Eve, which is the start of Art the Clown. Let's have a look here. TV shows. There's nothing much in the TV shows apart from Number 96, which I love. It was an iconic TV show from the 1970s. Set in an apartment block in Sydney. It was the first queer-friendly television show in Australia. I love Number 96. There's a big cult following of Number 96 fans on Facebook who tell each other when the new episodes are coming out. It's just gone viral since it first came out. Let's have a look here. Anything else? Comedies. Cult movies. Let's dive into cult movies. Doll Man with Tim Thomerson. Gotta love that. They did put this out on Blu-ray as well. He's the toughest, baddest cop on the planet, Arcturus, a fearless renegade carrying nothing but a laser pistol and a badge. Only problem is he comes to Earth and he's about 6 inches tall. Doll Man I love. Tim Thomerson movies I love. Let's have a look here. Tons of horror movies. Cold Hard Revenge, we've got some English films. Autopsy of Jane Doe's there, Hellraiser. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey's there. Family film, we've got family films as well. Crime in the Suburbs, American Indies, 2010s, 2020s movies. Brollie is just such a wealth of interesting stuff. Now I'm going to go over to ABC iView, which is the Australian Broadcasting Commission's streaming service. Let's see. I'll log in and I'll show you some of the movies. Okay, we're in the iView movies now. There's The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Deserts on iView. You can watch that one. Tons of other things. Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman, Morgan Freeman, and Rene Russo's in there. Ransom with Mel Gibson. Don't recommend that. It's a remake. It's not a good one. Dirty Harry's in there as well. Tons of comedy movies. Let's have a look here. Suddenly I highlighted all that. Didn't want to. Drama movies. Mad Dog Morgan. Felipe Mora's Mad Dog Morgan with Dennis Hopper and Jack Thompson. That one's a recommend. Fantastic film. Kind of exploitation, but in a weird way. They've even got action movies in here. Stone's in there again. Eraser with Arnie. I kind of like Eraser because it's got really good guns in it. First Nation Cinema, Top End Wedding, which is one of my feel-good comedies with Miranda Tapsell in it. And it's set in Darwin, a place I love. I just really enjoy Top End Wedding. If you find a copy of that, you're doing well. 10 Canoes is in there again. Mystery Road, the movie with Aaron Pedersen as a cop called Jay Swan. Fantastic action film directed by Ivan Sen. It's just, if you like kind of neo-westerns, it's an Australian neo-western in a sense. And there's also the sequel here, Goldstone, again with Aaron Pedersen, which also has Jackie Weaver, David Wenham, bunch of other people, Max Cullen, Tommy Lewis. That one's worth it as well. And there's also a couple of series of Mystery Road as well. Let's see, Fringe Dwellers, one of the classics of Australian Indigenous cinema, directed by Bruce Beresford. Really at the start of us really seriously discussing Indigenous issues. Let's see what we got here that I like. A few other things. There's some queer-friendly movies as well, including Mulholland Drive. Mulholland Drive's in there, and these will be uncensored because the ABC doesn't do that. So if you want to watch Mulholland Drive, you can definitely check that one out. Have a good time with it. Sunday Too Far Away, classic Australian movie about a shearers' strike in the 1950s with Jack Thompson, Max Cullen, Peter Cummings, a whole bunch of people. If you're looking for a new Australian movie to watch, Sunday Too Far Away, well, one you haven't seen before, Sunday Too Far Away is a recommend from me. A great film. There's In the Mood for Love stuff. There's a whole bunch of family movies, feel-good movies, crime dramas, just a ton of stuff. Waking Fright's in it as well. If you haven't seen Waking Fright and you can't find a copy of it, you can even see Waking Fright here, which is great. So now I'm going to dip over to SBS On Demand. We'll go straight to movies. You see things like, here you go, Logan's Run. If you don't know how to find a copy of Logan's Run, you can log into this one and watch it. I don't particularly like it as a science fiction movie. I've got some issues with how puerile it is, but a lot of people like it. Dog Day Afternoon's in there, which is great. We Cynthia Met, Al Pacino, John Cazale, Charles Durning. Fantastic movie. That one is one you should definitely check out. I've got the Blu-ray, so I won't bother. Mars Attacks is in there. There's lots of transgressive movies like Nymphomaniac, which I also have under. You can see Shaft, the original Shaft. Fantastic film, directed by Gordon Parks, Richard Roundtree, Moses Gunn, Charles Cioffi. Got these ones on Blu-ray, but if you can't find them elsewhere, You can find them on SBS On Demand. And again, you may need a VPN for this. Vampiros Lesbos. I like that one a lot. Jess Franco with Soledad Miranda. Fantastic soundtrack on here. The perfect lounge soundtrack. Advice: strongly sexualized violence and strongly sexualized nudity and strong violence. So you know it's good. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is in there. Recently added movies. Let's see what they got in there. To do anything I really want to recommend highly. You see Super Mario Brothers if you like. Ta-ta-ta! Battle Royale 2, Requiem. I like the first one a lot better. But that's there. Most watched movies. Triangle of Sadness is there. Basically, the ones that are most watched are usually ones with high sexual content in them. For reasons best known anyway. You got Fifth Element and Blade Runner on here. That's kind of cool. Highlander, if you want to watch the original Highlander before the new one with Henry Cavill comes out. Argo's there. The Lost Boys. To Die For. Marlowe with Liam Neeson. I haven't seen that one. I'm going to add that to my favourite so I can watch it later. But I do want to see that because I'm a big fan of Raymond Chandler's work. I don't expect it to be great, but I expect to be at least engaged by it. Movies leaving soon. They're always interesting to find. There's the 2000 Shaft, the John Singleton version with Samuel L. Jackson in it. You can watch that. There's a biopic about Gustave Eiffel. French one. A lot of these movies are non-English language ones on SBS. Hard Day's Nights in there as well with the Beatles. Whatever happened to those guys? So you can watch a Hard Day's Night. SBS On Demand does have ads in their movies, so just be aware of that. As Tubi does as well. You got to pay for things somehow. Misery, you can watch that if you like, as long as you're not an author. You probably get traumatized if you are. What We Do in the Shadows, the movies there as well. Trending movies on Golden Ponds there. Remains of the Day. Browse by category. So you can browse by language, which I find interesting. Let's have a look at Francais, because I like French films. French series, French language movies. Here we go. And there are movies I never hear about any other ways. You need to watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail in French. What's the Hateful Eight in French language movies? Matter of Life and Death's on here. I don't think it's in French. But if you haven't seen A Matter of Life and Death, I started watching it here, but then I got the Blu-rays. Fantastic movie. Highly recommended. There's just so much good stuff here. Movies about the cost of war, which is always going to be interesting for you. The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie. Bumwell's movie. I really want to see that. I haven't seen that before. But I hear good things about it. The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie. Death in Brunswick's here again. Gremlins is on too. You can watch Gremlins here. Joe Dante at his best. Open Your Eyes, Abres los Ojos in Spanish, which is the original version of Vanilla Sky. Much better version too. Umbrella just put this out on 4K. Midsummer's in there as well. Perfect date movie. Ari Aster's Midsummer. Don't spoil the ending for anybody. Just let them go in there. Strong adult theme, strong nudity, strong sex scenes, and strong violence. So if that's your bag, you can watch Midsummer there. Movies based on true stories. Let's forget. Now abiding thrillers. Movies under 90 minutes in case you need it. Whole bunch of British films. Blow-ups in there. Antonioni's Blow-up. With David Hemmings, Vanessa Redgrave, Sarah Miles, and Gillian Hills. I've got that one on Blu-ray. I'm sure I have. Brief Encounter. Perfect date movie. Just wish they had a shagged. But Brief Encounter, David Lynn's Brief Encounter is a magical film. Shakespeare in Love, which was one of the worst movies to get Oscars. But it has its moments, if you know what I mean. Retro Rewind, whole bunch of things there. Blasts from the Past. Spotlight on Ken Watanabe. whole bunch of Ken Watanabe joints there. Diane Keaton as well, the Coen brothers, Antonio Banderas, Tony Hopkins, Redford, Jeff Bridges, Herzog, Nicole Kidman, Christoph Kieslowski, Isabelle Huppert, Charlotte Rampling, Meryl Streep, lots of good stuff. Film noir, they've got film noir section. Hard 8, they've got Hard 8 in there. Paul Thomas Anderson's Hard 8, which Imprint put out on Blu-ray, and I've got a copy of that. Got to stop saying I've got a copy of that because it sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm not. Bonnie and Clyde's in there. Goodfellas, the Red Circle, the Circle Rouge, with Yves Montand and Alain Delon, the Melville movie. Fantastic film. World's most controversial movies: Benedetta, Showgirls, which is hilarious, Birth, Men Under the Silver Lake, which I like, Lamb, Triangle of Sadness, both volumes of Nymphomaniac, Climax, and Bonnie and Clyde. French Connections, a whole bunch of French film. Alphaville's in there as well. If you want to watch Alphaville, it's in there. I've talked about that many times on the channel. Science fiction cinema, Infinite Summer. I haven't seen that one. Going to add that to favourites so I can check it out. 3 young women's week at the beach turns into a transhumanist mystery romp over one Estonian summer. Why don't I know about that one? The Black Hole, which is not the one that Disney did, it's an Estonian film. Aliens arrive, sparking bizarre life-altering encounters in Estonia. I've got to watch that one. Logan's Run, Johnny Mnemonic. Body Melt's in there as well. Midnight Special, which I don't like. It's a little too kind of Spielbergian for me. Man Who Fell to Earth. Turn Me On, Mr. Nobody, which has got Jared Leto in it, so it's a definite no. The Prestige is in there, which is a science fiction movie in its essence. Superposition, a couple of moves of Swedish countryside turns into Cut Off from Civilization and Rediscover the Love of Nature. Yeah, so that one looks kind of interesting. So let's get back to me. That's what I've got for you. Tons of stuff available. All of it at no extra cost. Yes, you occasionally have to watch ads, but that's the price we pay. You're watching ads in this video. Just a lot of good stuff out there, and it's good to just dive into these free streaming platforms and just go exploring the way you would have back in the day in a video shop. They've got a little bit of that feel of exploring a video shop and just serendipitously discovering things that you don't know are there and you don't know about. And it's fun to do. I don't do it that often. I should do it more because most of the time I'm watching stuff that people send me, or I'm watching stuff that has just come out in cinema. So I really should dive into the streaming services more. Yeah, I can go and take a whiz while the ads are on, or go and get myself a coffee. There's a lot of good stuff here in Australia, at least, on free streaming services. Now, with Tubi, you may get different movies depending on which country you're in because the rights may be different. Let me know which of the streaming services you have in your country that really hit for you, because there is a diversity of them out there. And yes, there will be some of the same movies on different platforms. My feel is that the people who put together platforms like Brollie, I'm losing my words, Brollie and Tubi, SBS On Demand, and to a certain extent ABC iView, which is a little more mundane than some of the other ones, are movie buffs. They love cinema. And so the people who are curating this stuff care about what they're doing the same way you care about what you're watching. So that's it for this time around. Bit of fun, bit light, bit broad scope. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. You can also support the channel by becoming a channel member on YouTube, donating through YouTube, or by becoming a patron at patreon.com/TerryTalksMovies. Next up, we've got Science Fiction Saturday, and I've got a couple of interesting things for that. Until then, watch some good movies, watch some bad movies. Dive deep into your streaming services. You're going to find hidden gems and things you've forgotten that you love. And I'll catch you next time.